So Ms. Freeze, she don't need no man. That's for damn sure. Mobius is a sucker, no doubt. And I really enjoyed all my indies this week. I have no complaints. Let's talk about it. Roll that intro. Hey, what's shaking out there, everybody? I'm Pocan Joe, and as always, you're pretty cool for swinging by. Thanks. First, let me give a big shout out to the students at the Norfolk State University that came to the Entrepreneurial Summit. Thank you all for having me. I had a great time there. And if you swung by Blast or Stash It and you've been subscribing, thank you very much for that as well. Also, I want a big shout out to the VIMS conference that I went to today and got to be a speaker at. That was a great time, and I was voted on the advisory board for the Virginia Oyster Trail to kind of help promote Virginia seafood and agriculture, or water agriculture. Hopefully they're not watching my comic book show. That would be embarrassing. But anyway, let's break down this week's comic books, and we're going to start with DC. So I picked up my DCs this week, and apparently they're still doing these acetate cover things, and this one was really bad. Like, it was, like, it doesn't make any sense. But apparently Mrs. Freeze is awake, and like all of a sudden she has problems with her husband. I don't know if there was problems before. I don't know. But now she's not really digging the dude, and she wants to go off and be a criminal. And apparently Mr. Freeze wants to be on the up and up. And she feels like she's been enslaved this entire time by her husband. Even though she's been on ice, and you'd think that, you know, she would like, I don't know, just be like, let's hang out for a little bit. Nope, she wants to break loose and go on her own because she don't need no man. So what did I think of this book? Predictable? Like, it's the best way to describe it. It is just very extremely predictable. Over the top, trying to be a bad guy. I didn't much care for it, just to be fair. Next, Batman Graves. If you remember when this first came out, it started off as a really good thriller, and then we found our bad guy, who's this guy who looks like a cross between that guy who used to crush Gallagher. He looks like a cross between Gallagher and Carrot Top. Or that guy that's like in every single movie in the 80s when he had the crooked teeth. Whoever that cat was. Anyway, so he's the bad guy. Apparently he can fight very well because he like gives Batman a run for his money through several panels in this. Like way too many panels. And yeah, they're going to send him to Arkham. So yeah, that happened. And some cops apparently tried to draw down on Batman. You know, rookies. Pulling their guns on Batman. So that was kind of uneventful at best. I thought it would go a little deeper, and it didn't. Moving on. Event Leviathan. So if you don't know, Leviathan, this version of Leviathan, is Mark Shaw. Congratulations. Now you're probably wondering, so, who is that? And a lot of people said that too. Well, if you don't know and you haven't figured it out yet, he was actually the 5th version of Manhunter. Jack Kirby's work back in the mid-1970s. Yeah, that's some random superhero from back then. Okay, I'll go with it. It's somebody we haven't heard. We're bringing a character back. Okay, I'm down with that. We were always hinting that it was a Manhunter to begin with. So that gave us a lot of options because there's been a lot of Manhunters out there. All in all, this is just a setup for more storytelling. Also, we got Jim Harper in this as well, talking to him. If you don't know who Jim Harper is, he was Guardian back in the day. So, like, apparently Leviathan's kind of big. A lot of people in it. I think we're going to get more and more of that over time goes. I just hope they kind of make the story a little bit more interesting. Just seemed like a whole bunch of, look, Superman, we should be getting along because, you know, we're buddies. We should be buddies. We should be friends. You constantly heard that in this, and it was just like on and on and on. Yeah. So, just fizzled out. Instead of going out with a bang, it just fizzled out. Speaking of fizzling out, Gotham City Monsters fizzled out on me as well. Melmoth is, he's the wizard king from Mars back in the days with the curly. Yeah, it's a thing. Apparently, he's running around and he has to perform some sort of ritual according to the Crimes Bible. Why is it called Crimes Bible? It doesn't really explain the significance to the book in any way whatsoever. Comic books. That's your reason. So we move on from that. We get great battle scenes. We get great fights. Everything's going on this that you could possibly want. And then for some reason, we're just going to randomly throw Batwoman in all of this. Why? Because why not at this point? The show's getting canceled. You gotta put her in something. I know that's horrible. I'm a horrible human being. Superman number 17. Secret bases, secret boxes, secrets against each other, secrets. I lost count because there's so many tie-ins at this point. It's just ridiculous. So what did we get out of this? Lex Luthor gave her something, and for some reason, Batman takes Supergirl to her Zod's little Kryptonia now, where he's hanging out, and he needs a big favor, but it's a big secret. Yeah, it's done. DC, I hope you're not asking a whole lot of questions these days about your comic books are not doing well, because, God. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some Marvel stuff. Now, Marvel really this was definitely a good week for Marvel, but not the best week out of the books that I got anyways. So I went ahead and jumped on board with a new Punisher #1, new story arc, everything's going out. Punisher is kind of behind the 8 ball on this one. Somebody's going around with an AK-47 and dropping bodies from this Russian mob that Punisher's been after. Well, it's his buddy, right? His kind of source to the police force. It's him. That's it. But this thing is so good because it's just nonstop action, like a good Punisher story should be. A lot of action, very gory. Definitely not for like young readers, unless you got like weird kids or something. You should seek help for them, not let them read comic books. But anyway, it's a good story. I really like it. I see where this is going. I could see this being something I can really get into. Not a whole lot of super-powered stuff in it, but still good reading for right now. So I would definitely check it out. And that's Punisher. What is it, Soviet? Yeah. When did Russia become our enemies again? Like, I remember when we started being friends and we opened up a McDonald's, and then, like, all of a sudden they're our enemy again. I don't know. All right, talking about just random comic book happenings. Guardians of the Galaxy, number 11. The battle begins, and it is cut short. Magus is tired of the Jason's BS. Jason. Yeah, it's spelled that way in there. It's weird. Is basically leader of the United Church, and Magus is not hearing it. Child Magus, he's not. He's going to drop that body. But like 75% of all the Guardians of the Galaxies that have ever been Guardians of the Galaxy have been transformed, and they attack him. So Rocket now has to save the day. However, his mech suit has been destroyed, and if you've been reading this, you know that his tech suit is what's keeping him alive. But it's damaged. So he drags a gun and he wanders off. Everybody is just reading this to see if Rocket actually dies. As morbid as that is. Next, Morbius. Morbius. I know I said at the beginning it sucked. I meant a vampire joke in that. This is actually very good. I really enjoyed this. I do. The whole hunger thing, they're playing heavily on that. There's a villain who has henchmen that are just basically screw-ups. And, of course, it wouldn't be a comic book unless we got a sexy kind of Van Helsing type character in it. I don't know her name. Maybe she's famous in comic books. I couldn't tell you. But we get a lot of good stuff in here. We're trying drugs out that we shouldn't be trying. Say no to drugs because that's what happens to you. That is straight up city crack right there. All right. Good stuff, though. I enjoy it. I highly recommend it. If there was a deep thing to it, it's more of a bad, but I don't want to be bad. Therefore, I will act good, but do bad things to be good. Something like that. Doesn't matter. It's a comic book, and it's still very enjoyable, so I highly recommend checking it out. Next, Fallen Angels. I picked with this special variant right here. I forget if it's a 1 in 25 or 1 in... It's something. Doesn't matter. It's comic book talk, right? This is playing off of Eastern philosophy, right? That everything has beauty in it and everything can be beauty. Playing off the whole yin and yang of chaos and order and how they intersect. The thing is, they're not doing a very good job of that. You are ugly caterpillar, but I will make you beautiful butterfly of death. Yeah, it's kind of hinky at best. However, it had some good action scenes in it. I'll give it that. Normally, I'll trash this kind of book, but they are doing a fair point of talking how chaos has a role, even when everything needs to be in order. I'll give it that. It's shallow, but I'll let that slide. That's okay. Let's see what happens in issue 2. Unfortunately, I think that's when I'm going to predict that this kind of starts no-diving at that point. I know that's going to lead a comment. All right, next. X-Men number 2. We get introduced to the second island. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name until I at least hear 3 YouTubers say it correctly, or at least say it the same way, because I don't want to be that guy. That's not going to happen. But the island is not unknown to us. It was mentioned in either Powers of X or House of X, one or the other. Either way, Apocalypse has a very deep relationship with both of the islands and its previous inhabitants. He has a child on one of them, we'll put it that way. And the child is basically War. I really liked that. The art in this was cool. I really liked the story. I liked the fact that the islands were just drawn to each other and connected, and you could visually see the difference between the two. And we're starting to see more and more animals. Apparently, this kid can like summon up. It's not this kid's first appearance in comic books either. That's the weird thing. Somebody told me what issue it was in. Regardless, we're talking about this issue. So he's in there and he can summon like monsters from dimensions and stuff like that. It was really cool. I really liked it. I thought they did a good job in this. And of course, I had to go with a variant cover on that as well. So moving on to something interesting happened this week. And I'm pretty sure it's the first time that ever happened. I picked up, what is it? Yeah, I picked up 4 variants and I liked them all. I don't have anything bad to say about any of these variants. It's weird. All right, the first one was Black Hammer. I've been enjoying Black Hammer. I really like this, and this kind of close out this story right here. Will they do something more with this in the future? I hope so. This was pretty good, and it was all about sacrifice. So as the Black Hammer team and the Justice League team swapped places, sacrifice had to be done to get this young lady right here, who really didn't want to go back to the farm, to go back to the farm. Not only go back to the farm, but stay in her 12-year-old body while she was there. She's like a middle-aged woman or slightly older than that. Yeah, that had to happen. Spectre's doing Mixiplex, and then that's one thing. Yeah, Mixiplex is actually got a bigger plan. He wanted Colonel Weird to kind of give him access to this pocket dimension thing that he deals in a whole lot, which he did end up doing. So it kind of left us off for some more story in the future. I really hope it goes that way because this was good. Let's see, moving on. We got, oh yeah. We got Folklords. This is weird. All right, so you got this kid right here in the suit, right? And then you got like all this fantasy stuff, right? Well, the kid's actually from the fantasy universe. Apparently at night he sleeps and he gets these visions of skyscrapers, and of course they describe them differently because it's not in his world. But then he also sees how men dress in it, and apparently he's looking at a city where people are wearing suits and ties. So he starts dressing like what he sees in the dreams. And this is very odd to everybody in their fantasy world, I'm sure, as you can imagine. And apparently on your 18th birthday, you're supposed to go on some sort of quest, and a lot of people pick the most obvious stuff. He decides that he wants to go see the Folklords. Apparently, you're not allowed to speak about the Folklords, however, because the people at the library have a problem with it. You remember the library? That was a building. It used to have books in it, and there was an old lady in there who'd go, shh. Now it's a place for people to urinate in. All over. It's a shame. Anyway... So this is the 1 per store variant. Yeah, after getting kind of a synopsis of this and reading it, I was like, yeah, I need to get something a little bit more rarer than this, because this is just fun storytelling and it's great. So the Magical Quest, they finally, they're not allowed to talk about it. They shut the whole thing down. The librarians start issuing everybody their quest, and the kids being rebellious, they're like, nah, man, I'm going to go find the folk lords, right? And him and his friend are taking off to go do that. Interesting stuff. I would be picking this up. This is a fun read. It's something for just about any age. And I could really see this becoming something on Netflix. This wouldn't be anything for Netflix or somebody to pick up. Does that automatically mean like super millions of dollars? Of course not. Of course not. And I wouldn't recommend it for that, but it's kind of cool to have something translate into another medium in a collection. I have a complete short box of nothing but that from 80s movies. Yeah, I did that. Okay, so moving on. Next, G.I. Joe. Oh, man, my read of the week right here. Why? This thing is so action-packed. The pacing in it is so fast. The artwork is beautiful. I like how they give us subtle hints that the Snake Eyes in here is not the Snake Eyes we grew up with, and that's okay. Like, that's legitimately okay. We get an air battle in here that rivals anything from Top Gun. It was just a fun read, and I was like, why is this book going by so fast? So I read it again. And I'm like, wow, this seemed even faster. So I started counting the pages. It has the same number of pages a normal comic book would, and every panel has verbiage in it. The reason why is because the action is just so intense in this that you're just going through it to see what happens next. It's a great book. This Snake Hunt series, it's a short arc. I think we only got a couple more issues in it. I've been enjoying it. And if you're a G.I. Joe fan, you would probably like this as well. So that's G.I. Joe number 268. I don't know if I said that or not. Last but not least, a book that gave us a twist. Right when you think you're figuring this book out, it gives you a little twist. And that's Reaver. And this is, what number is this? Number 5. Reaver number 5. This has been good. We find out that the old wizard, well, he's not really the one in charge and running the show. The silent bodyguard, or what we thought was the bodyguard, is. Our backstabber finds out he's about to learn a lesson. He ain't going to forget. Our Berserker is legitimately insane, and he's a Berserker. The entire time he's being attacked, he's laughing the entire time. He gives a motivational speech that rouses the troops. Basically says, you're either going to go out there and die, or you're going to die through this door. So what difference does it make? Let's go through the door. That's his speech. I was like, all right, I want to go through the door now. A lot of action in this. It is really just a fun read, too. Again, I can't say anything more than that. 4 just great books. I felt very lucky to get 4 indie books that I just absolutely enjoyed and honestly didn't mind reading more than once. So yeah, that's my haul for this week, and that's also what I'm going to be bringing to Blaster Stash at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. We're going to get a little deeper in these books and get some more opinions about these from other people. If you read any of these books, please swing by. We got a live chat. You come in there and tell us what you thought about it. Tell us if you think our opinions are garbage, if you agree with us, or maybe you have a different take on it that we're not noticing. Let us know. We're happy to review it. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. I've had a very busy week, and I kind of need a nap. I'm an old man. So without anything else going on here soon, just Blaster Stash it. No major cons. So I'll see you all next week with a whole new run. Take it easy, guys. Bye.